All right, it's Friday, October 29th, and I'm just going to go for a little drive to go through St. Paul here with somebody that's never experienced full self-driving beta, so excuse the swearing if there is some. So we'll just go up on 7th here and cut over to Smith.
Okay. And then they'll take us by the hospital.
Yeah.
Cool.
So let's see, as soon as I can turn on, I will. Let's see. Come on.
Is that how you turn it on?
No, it just there. So you see how how it lit up there?
Yeah.
So now the car's driving.
What? Dude, this is insane.
Yeah, sometimes it takes like a block for it to like kick on.
Yeah.
And then it allows you to engage FSD. So it's signaling, it's doing everything right now. So it's doing this to follow the route. So this is really funny up here when it makes this left turn. So what is it doing?
So it's seeing this guy getting ready to cross, or what?
Yep.
Okay.
Like I said, it's probably not a bad idea. It's just sometimes it slows down, I think, a little too much, and I could probably coast a bit more, in my opinion.
That wasn't a bad stop though. Like it was pretty like calm.
And I think part of the problem too is I have the trackpad still on, so when it thinks it's applying like 10% brake, it's probably like 20%.
Braking really hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the fun one here when it has to like wiggle around.
I suppose.
So the one thing it won't do yet, and they're supposedly going to address this, is it's going to creep out in the intersection a bit more like a human being would.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Let's see, it sees his motorcycle here. See it?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to, it's going to go. No, we're going to wait till our turn next time, I guess.
Okay, so it's not going to let you go there?
No, I could have hit the accelerator and made it go through it, but...
So if you hit the accelerator, would it override, or would it stay on autopilot, but it would just complete the action?
Yeah, it would stay on FSD and
Okay.
it would make the turn.
Okay.
It might squawk though because the light was, this one's a quick light here, and it was turning red, so sometimes it wants you to hold the accelerator until you're like through the intersection.
Yeah.
It doesn't want you doing illegal stuff.
I mean, that makes sense.
Probably rightfully so.
That makes sense.
So
when you're driving, what do you have to do hands on the wheel versus not?
So you're supposed to have your hands on all the times. Like when I'm at a stop sign, I don't, but I'm always ready to, hit the brake or accelerator.
Does it beep? Does it give you a vibration? How does it tell you to put your hands on there?
You'll see like the blue. It'll beep at you if it goes long enough.
Okay. And was it like 30 seconds or something? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so like on this busy street, the fact that it doesn't like
just like seeing the lady walking by.
Oh, and they're on bicycles, it renders dogs and stuff too.
It's so cool.
So let's see if I want to see if it goes.
Now it's gotta go.
Yeah. If it wasn't, I was gonna hit the accelerator.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Just a little hesitant, but again, it's beta, so I expect it to be cautious.
I would rather have it be that way than the opposite.
And just floor the accelerator through the corner.
Yeah.
So like this is the crazy part, when it goes around like everything and it makes this left turn. And this left turn is like, it's tight.
Yeah.
So it might take it a little slow, but I did this like last week. It did it just fine. So.
Oh man, yeah, it's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite as smooth, as a human would do it, but like, it did it fine. You know?
So we'll just go straight up here. So now if I let this thing just go, it should just go straight now.
Okay.
So like we can pick.
So because we got to our destination, right?
Yeah, I'll pick like Summit.
Okay. So if you didn't hit a destination, would it just keep on?
Yep.
Grand or whatever headed for?
It will just keep going straight. Yep.
Okay.
So I just put it up here now, so it should now follow another route.
Cool.
So when we get close, I'll just have it kind of do a loop.
Cool.
And at any time, I can override it with steering input, brake, accelerator.
Anything.
If I hit the accelerator, it's not going to take it out of FSD. It will just, so if I hit the accelerator now, I can speed it up, right?
But then as soon as you take your foot off, it'll
it's
just
going to go back to the set speed. And I can adjust the speed too. I can say, it's 25, but I want to go 30.
Okay.
So you can speed a little bit, obviously, be responsible, but...
Yeah, how much will it let you go over? Is it set for versus different speed limits,
Yeah, it used to be like, you could only go 5 over on city streets. I think it lets you go a little higher now.
Okay.
It's beta, so I don't think they really restrict you right now. But
does it have anything yet for like those things where it's like a big divot in the road or pothole or anything?
There is the start of it, but not quite yet.
Because that obviously, especially in St. Paul, that would be a good thing to have.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it over here. That guy was pretty tight.
Yeah. So, I mean, in that case, like, do you think it still would have been okay?
It probably would have been okay.
Or,
like,
okay.
Every time where I'm on some corners, there's only been a couple times where I'm like, okay, you would have ran over the curb there. You would have done this.
Yeah.
There's maybe like a handful of times where that happened. There's a corner by my parents' house that is where it will like cut the corner too tight. But now on this new build, it follows a better line, so it goes out further and then cuts in.
Yeah.
But sometimes like people don't give you the space, so then the car then will, you know, it will try to hold its line as much as it can, and then it will just hit the brakes and let the human driver go around.
So at the end of the day, if it's getting sketchy, it'll just brake and just stay in the spot and hope that the other car will avoid. Okay, which makes sense. I mean, that's better than it trying to like pull its way through. You know?
And you should be able to see the bicyclist here.
Yeah.
So if he cuts into my lane, it's gonna be like, you know. See again, that was a collision warning there, but obviously we're not.
Yeah.
We weren't even close to him really. So.
Yeah, that's still pretty safe.
But again, saying, hey, pay attention, you know, there's a bicyclist here.
Mm-hmm. So does it ever tell you to take over or no?
So there's a couple times that it'll throw like the red hands and it sends a different beep out to it. If you're not paying attention, like they're monitoring all this. So if you get...
Where's the camera? Like how are they monitoring your eye position?
There's a camera right up here.
Okay.
Yep.
So is it monitoring is it just set on you or is it set on everyone in the car or what?
I'm gonna go around this guy here because I didn't set a route. But it's just monitoring me. I think you can see the people in the back seats, but it's actually monitoring your eyes.
The driver. Okay.
Yeah, that's a recent thing that they've started implementing. So I want to put it back for the gym. We'll go back to West 7th and I'll take you on 35E then.
Cool.
Do some right turns up here. Because Sears is no longer there, right?
No, I think they shut down.
Well, actually, isn't Securian's building down here?
I think it's a little ways over there.
Here, we'll do this one. So yeah, it's like a mile away. We'll try that first. There's probably a couple left turns. Yeah, there's like one left turn. We can do that one and bounce back.
Cool. Yeah, this is actually, so far, it's smoother and better than I thought it was going to be. You know, and I know that you're like kind of monitoring it and you're playing a role right now too, but
yeah,
it's actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's just still kind of crazy to watch the wheel and everything when it makes a corner.
Well, that's the weird thing. It's like, because it's like weird to see the thing moving, but you're just like sitting there.
Yeah. I mean, after a while, you know where it's going to have issues. You can kind of anticipate it.
Yeah.
So every release, I'm taking it down like the same routes, comparing previous videos of how it actually handled that situation.
So you're not braking at all?
No,
it's just doing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's doing regen braking on its own right now, so that's the green right here.
Yeah.
So it's more efficient. Obviously, it's not using the brakes at all, really. It's just using the motors themselves and then generating power back into the battery.
Gotcha.
Which is why these things are so great around the city. I mean, especially coming down hills like that, it's free power.
For sure, yeah.
Until you go up.
Whereas, like, you know, in a regular car, you're having to ride the brake and then you hit the gas and, you know.
Yep. And here's a Model Y coming up on our right here. So that's a Y. So that's
cool.
That's like the three we're in now, but just bigger. That's like the SUV. So that's like what Gladys will see.
Yeah, and she's gonna get the same color and everything.
Yeah, well, we're ordering white for now.
Oh, that's cool.
It'll be wrapped, but
it's funny they're looking at yours. We're looking at theirs.
All right, so I should get over to left lane here. Let's see what it does. Actually, wait, no, it's the next one. So we'll go on to West 7th then. See if it does it here. Oh, we're already in the right turn lane. Now will this guy go?
So this is gonna put us in the left lane, and then.
So that guy wasn't gonna go. He was gonna go straight, and it went around him. That was pretty cool.
Okay, that was really cool.
You could have just waited too, but.
But it figured it would be quicker to go this way. See, this doesn't freak me out because it's like slow speeds and everything.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
you can tell it to go as fast as you want. Like right now, I can set it to like 10 miles an hour if I want to.
But like, this would freak me out. I feel like if we're going 60 somewhere, you know, like I don't know.
Well, in the freeway, I mean, usually your following distance, you can control that too.
Like the freeway, it's actually probably better, right? Because it's easier to, you know, there's less like sharp turns and less like input for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But like it would freak me out a little bit more just not having experienced it, you know.
Yeah, I'll show you the freeway after this. It's pretty mellow actually. There's a lot less that can happen as quickly, right? There's more people can jump out at you quicker on city streets. And
for sure.
There's a lot more variables at play. I mean, don't get me wrong, stuff can happen fast on the freeway. It's just
true.
You're not making as many turns usually. You know, your speed's pretty set.
Yeah, there's less intersections and all that stuff. Yeah, it would be nice if they could come up with something that like figures out the contour of the road too. So if there are potholes or there's drainage things that like naturally humans we just like straddle it or go around it, you know.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if that could like develop a way. I'm sure it will at some point, you know.
So I know they were already paying attention to those things because eventually they wanted to, like on the higher end vehicles like the S, basically anticipate the bump, either avoid it or if they have to hit it, then they can stiffen up that part of the suspension like within milliseconds and make it smoother.
Yep.
So they're already, looking at doing those things.
I mean, that's the future, is to be able to do all that.
Just give me access to train the system in our roads. I mean, our roads are so terrible.
I mean, this is like a perfect place to do it because of how bad everything is. So
one of the YouTubers out there, his name's Dirty Tesla. We were talking one day about on Twitter way back when, just about whose roads are worse, and Michigan's roads are pretty bad, I will admit.
I suppose.
So.
But they can't get too much worse than St. Paul.
No, or Minneapolis for that matter.
Ours, especially come the spring, it's pretty rough.
So I'm gonna just go straight here. Then let's see what we can go back to work. Which I have work set as the gym.
Oh, cool.
Because as I was going there, and I had to sit out on navs to it. Then let's see, it should figure it out up here.
So then something like that, like if you're a human driving a car, you could have easily have like made that, you know? Like what's the car's, like is there a way to set like the...
So there's different profiles now. You can go in here to under autopilot and go to full self-driving profile. So I have it on the most like aggressive, it's on assertive right now.
Yep.
There's one clip I'll show you. So like right now I'm going to probably take over just because I don't want it to turn on red. It doesn't read the no turn on red signs yet.
Oh, gotcha.
That's an easy thing to train against. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah. So, but it still would have like sensed. I mean, obviously.
Oh yeah, it would have yielded.
You shouldn't turn, but it would still sense those people.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Cars and pedestrians, it would have yielded too.
Cool.
So it's just don't want to break the law.
Yeah.
I have the intersection by my house is the same way. It's got no turn on red, so it kind of you gotta stop sometimes if you're turning on there.
Yeah, I wonder how they're gonna have to find a way to acknowledge that. You know,
they can already read speed limit signs and everything.
Oh really?
Yeah. So it's just again just training against it. So getting a bunch of images of those signs, training their neural nets against it, and then just pushing it out to the car.
So it'll actually read what the actual speed limit sign is and then adjust based on that.
Yeah, if we probably won't. We'll see it on the freeway. I'll show you. Because
like Google Maps, it just has it somehow what it is. It just has it stored somehow in the data, and so it just knows if you're on this street at 70.
So they
whatever,
have both. Let's see if it figures it out here. Yeah, that was not bad actually.
Cool.
Just a little jaggedy. And figure it out. All right, there we go. So I don't know why it slowed down there. Once it figured it out, I think it wanted to figure out what lane it was.
I suppose.
The other problem too is they're comparing what they're seeing through the car against a database that they have downloaded to the car.
Yeah.
Some of their maps are out of date. Like,
well, and maybe even on a street like this, it's one way. It's trying to figure out like which lane can I be in versus
Did they just
not.
redo this one too? It looks like the asphalt's kind of brand new.
It does, yeah.
So they may have added a lane, like 35 going north on 35W.
That makes sense.
Is the same way. Sometimes the car, it figures it out every time, but it's like, all right, we need a new map update to like address this.
Yeah.
So it should pick the cones up here. Let's see.
There's a car on the right. Let's see what it does.
So I gave it a little throttle input, but it did everything.
Cool. Yeah, it did a good job waiting for the car to pass. And
the guy behind me was super impatient, but so it wants to get back over, but it realizes it can't.
There's cones, so it corrects.
This is a good torture test.
Yeah, I mean, any sort of downtown area, in the middle of a midday Friday is going to be a little tougher.
Yeah.
This guy's wanting to pass.
They get everybody. Bicyclists, jaywalkers.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the kamikaze old ladies yet, but
they're coming.
There's time. So I don't know why it was So abruptly stopping there, I'm guessing it had a hard time figuring out where it wanted to stop.
Which makes sense. I mean, there are no markings here, so even as like a human, it would be hard to figure out where you're supposed to stop here, you know?
But that's a thing that's unique to this build too, that was in the last build where it would have more gradually stopped. I feel like in 10.2 and 10.3, it's just like, I'm going to hit the brakes harder now.
Yeah.
So every time it does it, I'm like, all right, is somebody behind me? Because then I'll just feather the throttle.
That's the only worry is not, I mean, the you'll be fine in here. Is someone behind you not going to, you know, see that you're stopping more abruptly.
Because we have plenty of inattentive drivers, you know.
It would be funny to drive, like to follow this car and just see like from another driver on the road what it looks like, you know.
Yeah.
Does it look like you're being jerky or erratic, or does it look smoother, or like, you know, it would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm going to take over here. I didn't know what to do.
I mean, if you hadn't taken over, do you think at a certain point it would just braked and just stopped?
It would have just hit the brakes, yeah.
Okay. And just sat there?
Yeah. Okay. But you see how easy it is to take over. You just flip the drive stalk up, and that's the smooth way of doing it.
Yeah.
But to disengage it, if I could just take the wheel too, and it would do it.
It would have done it, okay.
Or hit the brakes.
Yeah.
I have a feeling too some of those roads are modified from what they were in the database, because I think the last time they updated the maps, usually they're like every 6 months. The maps are still 2020, like week 48 of 2020.
Oh yeah.
So
it's
they
like,
need an
it's
update.
A year old almost.
And I don't know if the full self-driving stack uses that for navigation, but I know for sure the Navigate and Autopilot, which is when you're using it on the freeway, which is it's a completely different stack as of right now. Eventually they'll use the same code for both.
Yeah.
They haven't merged them yet together, but I know for sure the highway, like what lane it wants to pick and everything, is based on that map database.
Cool.
So I keep asking them to update
that.
Because like in my house, you know where 280 splits off?
Yes.
Off 35?
Yeah.
It wants to go around the bend, the curve, and then go then 280, which is like 2 lane changes over.
Yeah.
Which you only have like a quarter mile to do it, which is really stressful.
It gets sketchy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like, every time there, if it does that, I'm like, all right, I'm taking over.
So do they have their own maps service, or, you know, because there's like the Apple Maps, there's Google Maps.
They use Google for like the points of interest information, and addresses and things like that. But otherwise, they're, I think, using a mix of OpenStreetMaps and their own. Okay.
Because Google Maps, that's what I use, and they do a remarkable job actually of like updating stuff, you know, whether it's, you know, construction, traffic, this lane is closed, there's an accident here, there's a speed trap here, like all that stuff. So I wonder like how well this stacks up as far as that, you know.
Yeah, initially, like when they used another company to do like traffic information, and then they said, well, we're going to do it ourselves. And initially, like when there wasn't that many Teslas on the road, when they were just kind of crowdsourced from their Teslas, it wasn't very good. And now there's so many Teslas on the road, that approach is actually fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure it saves them money just doing it themselves.
That makes sense. I mean, once you get more Teslas, you know, because that's the nice thing about Google Maps is there's a ton of people that use it. And I mean, even when I go by a speed trap or where they had a report of one, a little thing will pop up like, is there still a speed trap there? Or is there still a disabled vehicle there? And so you think, you know, if every, you know, 5th person or whatever, like confirms one way or another, you know, I think it would do a pretty decent job of staying real time. So I'm assuming the more Teslas you get on the road, the more it'll, you know, use the data from each car to figure that out.
For sure. So we'll just kind of start where we left off, and then I'll have it go on a 35E.
Cool.
And then I'll show you that.
Yeah, I gotta feel the acceleration on this bad boy too.
So it should try to get over here. I don't know if it's gonna have enough room though. I like this guy's license plate. I'd rather be in Maui.
I would too, buddy. Don't worry.
Yeah, we all would. Especially in a month from now.
Yeah, seriously.
Get us out of here. Unfortunately, my GoPro decided to overheat here thanks to Wi-Fi still being enabled, so the video stops just before arriving at the destination. With that said, I'll be doing another drive like this one to see exactly how FSD Beta likes the goofy intersections and streets that St. Paul is known for. If you like seeing similar content and how FSD Beta handles our lovely Twin Cities roads, feel free to like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will look for you in the next one.